All right, look, here's what we did. We took the 5 most impactful things that we preach all the time for health and fitness, and we broke them down with the science. How much of an impact does eating only whole natural foods actually have? What about high protein? How much of an impact does that actually have? What about consistent good sleep or creatine, the best supplement ever invented, or a good coach? We're going to break them all down. How much of a difference do they all actually make? Are they worth it, or are we splitting hairs? Let's get to it.
Well, this is hard because I wish you would have picked some that people think are really impactful and that are not.
Oh, that aren't. Well,
you picked the 5 most impactful
They are
things.
impactful.
Exactly.
You're correct.
Exactly, but I want to give.
And we're done.
Very
I want to give
obvious.
numbers. I want to give like actual numbers, so that people say, okay, well, that actually is a big difference, or it's kind of a small difference.
Priority-wise, you just want to stack these up.
Totally. Like
Yeah.
how big of an impact do all of these have when it comes
Massive.
to
Yeah.
health, fat loss, muscle gain?
I mean, ranking them would be a little bit of a challenge.
Do you just go to the first one?
Well, yeah, let's do that.
High one
Let's
first?
start with whole natural foods. And so what I want to do is I'll talk about the data, and then let's talk about our experience training people, managing gyms, and managing trainers who train people. Okay.
Yeah.
So whole natural foods. Let's just say you go from eating the traditional Western diet, which typically has anywhere between 60 to 80% of the food or calories coming in from processed foods. So these are foods that are in wrappers, boxes, multiple ingredients, long shelf life, so processed foods.
Yep.
How big of a difference does going from that to only eating whole natural foods have? So I'll talk about the data first. The data shows that your calories will naturally drop, if all you did was that, and you didn't try to do anything else. You didn't try to eat less. You didn't try to change anything else. I'm not trying to eat more of this, more of that.
500?
You just, about 500 calories a day. That's what the data shows. The data shows that your calories will drop by around 500, in some cases more, in some cases a little less.
I don't even think that's a really good study or a really good
it's not complete.
It's so much more impactful than that.
That's right.
That's an average of all these people that eat from an all different calorie range.
Calories,
I agree. So let's talk about our experiences. Like, what have you guys seen in terms of fat loss, muscle gain, body comp change, mood changes?
I've seen people that have done nothing but
changes your
that.
cravings.
Nothing but that, and it radically changed blood panels, radically change libido, radically change body composition. I mean, just that.
Cognitive ability.
I'm not talking all the things that we talk about with building strength and with
or manipulating anything else.
Just, I'm going to make this commitment. This, by the way, this is the reason why. I don't know what year it was, 2015 or so. Maybe Doug can fact check me. I can't remember. When did Whole30 come out?
Oh,
this is why this exploded.
That might have been 2015.
Yeah.
That was my guess.
Yeah.
Right. So this is why this exploded and had so much success. What was it?
2009.
Oh, even further. 2009.
I guess we were really aware of how popular it was probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been around for a while.
So and
lots of success.
Huge, massive success because it was just simple and it was Whole30 for 30 days. That's like the challenge. Yeah. It's not even like eat this way for the rest of your life. No. It's that, and what was so brilliant about it was that she had distilled it down to eat this way just for 30 days and watch.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's how impactful it is. Was that if you could just get people to commit for 30 days of doing that they would see so much of an improvement on so many things.
That they'll make some changes.
They'll make changes, and if they just go the rest of their life attempting to be close to that, that is impactful.
I'll back you up. I think because 100%. What a great observation. Because the benefits that you notice from switching and eating this way get better 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, a year, 2 years. So whatever difference you notice in the first 30 days, it only gets better. And yet people did it for 30 days and were blown away by it. So I'll give some hard numbers. And I used to communicate to my clients. I'll give a range. So all the clients that I trained this is what I communicated, because I didn't communicate this early on. This wasn't even on my radar as a trainer early on. As a trainer early on, it was all about calories and macros. It was meal prepping and planning and diet. I'll give them diets and here's your meal plan. That's what I should say, meal plans. It wasn't until later where I think this was like such a game changer. It was like, oh, that's simple. Let's see what happens. And from then on average, if a client just did this, nothing else, they didn't try to eat more protein, they didn't try to avoid any other foods, they didn't try to diet, they didn't try to bulk, they just did this. On average, my clients would lose 10 to 20 pounds of body fat just from this.
With no
Just from this.
With no parameters.
No
either.
parameters.
Like, you're hungry? Go eat.
That's it.
Just eat like this.
That's it.
Yeah, just eat
10
a whole
to
food.
20 pounds. Now, someone might be wondering, what's the difference? Why would some people lose 10, some people lose 20? The more weight they had to lose, the closer it was to 20.
Yeah.
The less weight they had to lose, the closer it was to 10.
Yeah.
Now, to add to that, here's what I also saw. A dramatic reduction in inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So people would come back, and this was quick. This was within the first 30 days. Oh my God, my joints don't hurt as much.
Yeah.
I have less headaches. I wake up with more energy. I feel less inflamed. I feel less puffy. I used to hear a lot of my clients say I don't feel as puffy, especially my female clients. Sleep would improve. And it was always shocking to people because there were no more parameters included, and everybody was eating until they were full, which blew everyone's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can seek out food and eat. Mm-hmm. And what I noticed was a lot of the blood markers in terms of like sugar, when I had clients that were pre-diabetic, like it completely reversed it. And it's like, it just goes to show like the difference you get from natural foods.
Well, I remember getting clients that were obese or really overweight, doing all the calculations of, oh, this person weighs this much, and so based off of that, they should be eating this many calories, and then putting them on a whole food diet, and they would come back and they'd be like, I can't eat this amount of food.
Yeah.
So you have people who are way overweight.
Yeah, chronically overeat.
Yeah, chronically overeat. I do, as a trainer, sit down, do the formulation or calculation of like, okay, this person is, 280 pounds. This is about how much protein, carbs, fats, what are they?
Here's your activity.
Right. Yeah, activity.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, and then I'd give it to them and I'd be like, okay, and here's all the foods, right? And then lay it out. And it would always, they come back 3-4 days later and be like, I can't eat this.
Too much food.
Too much
It's
food.
a lot. Yeah.
And so wrap your brain around that. A person that obviously got to this place eating too much food.
Yeah.
Now is coming back and reporting to me, I can't do it.
Yep.
I can't hit the calories. Like, how crazy is that?
I'll say this right here. It's not impossible. I'm sure there's people out there that can do this, but it's actually pretty damn hard to be obese and eat only whole natural foods. It's actually pretty difficult, you guys. So this one thing right here has a profound impact. So if your goal is to lose 10 to 20 pounds of body fat and improve the way you feel and inflammation, all that stuff, just this step right here will do that for you. Just this one simple step.
Yeah.
Do you eat a lot of processed foods? If you're eating like a science experiment, your body's going to perform like one, unstable and unpredictable. That's why we created the 100% free Benefits of Eating Whole Foods Guide. Simple explanations, practical swaps, and real food strategies anyone can stick to. Your body thrives on real food. If your energy has been slowing down, get the free guide and start feeling the difference.
So it's number one.
All right, protein.
gold.
How much of a difference does high protein make? I actually looked it up. I actually had AI do a giant analysis of all of the studies and all of the meta-analysis. And the question I asked it was, and I went back and I asked it a few other ways just to make sure the numbers are correct. How much of a difference does high protein actually make in strength and muscle? Like, how much of a difference does it actually make? Now, keep in mind, in the studies, they're not taking people who are way under eating protein. They're taking people who are eating, a normal amount of protein, which is not enough, but a normal amount of protein. And these studies will take that and double it typically. So it's typically 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight versus 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. Now, we recommend higher. I'll recommend 2 grams per kilogram of body weight, or to make it more simple, closer to a gram of protein per pound of target body weight. Okay. So, but I'm going to use with all the studies. There's more studies will use those parameters, 0.8 to 1.6 per kilogram. What does the data show? What's the difference? How much more strength? And by the way, keep in mind, studies are typically 16 weeks long, maybe 24 weeks long, maybe 12 weeks long. So I would argue, through my experience, which we'll get to,
as it goes longer,
it gets better. But in those periods of time, what does the data show? You're going to gain 10% more strength on average. That's not nothing to sneeze at. and about 27% more muscle.
27%.
That's crazy.
Okay,
That's crazy.
That's it. Just from doing this right here.
Yeah.
By the way, these are meta-analysis, meaning
You can't deny that
they're,
impact.
they're controlling for calories, so it's not like they just ate more calories or that's it. 27%.
That's massive.
Yeah. So that's like the difference between gaining 10 pounds of muscle and gaining almost 13 pounds of muscle. Another 3 pounds of lean body mass.
So you pair this with the whole foods.
Oh God.
And
You fixed
you made
you
the
figured out
you
the
made
diet.
you made the point to say that of course there's exceptions to the rule, but I would say I have never seen personally.
I know.
I have never seen personally somebody who eats all foods high protein overeat.
Yeah.
Like overeat
whole
them-
food diet.
I'd like to
plus high
see a
protein.
documentary on that. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't they do that?
Yeah, it's just it's difficult to do. It's difficult.
Yeah,
if you
it
eat a
is.
high protein,
You have to-
all
you have to
whole-
So
force feed yourself.
satiating
Yeah.
that you'd really have to
and
look at it.
If you're pairing that with strength training,
Oh God.
all
Magic.
that will happen is you just build muscle.
Yeah.
You just build muscle
And get leaner.
Yeah. So
Magic.
These are for sure 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, one and 2.
Now here's what I experienced with my clients. With my clients, when we would go high protein, their recovery ability dramatically improved. Dramatically.
Yeah.
Like very different. I remember I'll use one example because I have so many. But I had a guy that I was training, and him and I would strength train between 1 to 2 days a week, and he would do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu between 2 to 3 days a week. Okay. And he was in his late 30s at the time. So I was probably in my early 30s. He was in his late 30s. Cool guy, real nice dude. He was always athletic, always fit. And he's like, man, I can't do any more because Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is pretty intense. Like a traditional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class typically is about 2 hours long. And the first hour is like workout, warm up, but it's more like a workout. Then you're doing drills. And then the last hour is live sparring, which is essentially you're wrestling hard with other people, which is exhausting. If you've never done this before, it's like you're tired. After 3 minutes, you want to go
super
take it.
intense,
It's super hard. And so it's pretty intense. So he's doing that 2 to 3 days a week, plus strength training 1 or 2 days a week, depending on how much jiu-jitsu. And he's like, man, Sal, he goes, and this guy was a brown belt. And he's like, I can't do any more jiu-jitsu. It just breaks me down. And I can't do more than the basic strength. It just breaks me down. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, what's the deal? And so I'm like, let's do this, dude, because we never really talked diet. He really just hired me for strength training. I said, I want you to hit 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight, which was a lot for him. He wasn't doing that before. Mm-hmm. So he actually made an effort to do it. The guy comes back to me and he's like, bro, he goes, not only can I add another day of jiu-jitsu, but I'm not sore or stiff anymore. He's like, I can go do a full another class of jiu-jitsu and I feel better than when I was doing less just from doing that. We did nothing else. We didn't do anything sleep. We weren't adding massage. There was no red light therapy. There was no sauna. There was no special supplement. Mm-hmm. It was just, let's go from your current protein intake, which was probably half of what I recommend. It's like double your protein intake, watch what happens. And he came back to me and he's like, I can't believe what a difference this made.
Well, this is also where the saying in the bodybuilding community came from, which I don't agree with. No, but this is where the saying comes from.
This is the truth in it.
Yeah, this is the truth in it. And where this comes from is that you can't overtrain, you can just undereat.
Yeah.
And that is like, if you continue to increase that protein and increase that, like, you will recover, you'll keep being able to do it. And I don't agree with that. But it's the reason why that statement seems to be true for so many people is because that's just it. If they just kept increasing protein and continue lifting harder and progressive overloading, their body continues to recover and build muscle for a really long time.
It does aid in recovery. For sure.
Now, here's what the data also shows with fat loss. In calorie-controlled diets, a higher protein diet tends to cause a 10% increase in fat loss in comparison. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. 10% is a big percentage to see any changes in. And over time, here's my argument, that percentage gets better because of the muscle building aspect.
Sure.
So not only are you going to burn more body fat through it, you're going to build more muscle, which will also help with the fat loss. So big impact. All right, sleep. Let's talk about sleep. How much of an impact does consistent good sleep have in comparison to what most people experience with sleep, which is subpar? It's not terrible. We're not talking about you just had a baby, bad sleep, but we're talking about the typical person.
I mean, it's really the determinant if you're going to fully progress. Otherwise, you're looking at grinding your gears and hitting a massive plateau.
Totally.
You really can't bypass this.
It's obviously this is top three. It is sometimes when you have the other two perfectly in line, it's the only reason why you're not seeing the results you should.
Oh, this will be a wall.
That's it.
So and this it's important always, but becomes exponentially important as we get older. It's like as my clients that were
To counter the
30,
stress
40,
and
50,
everything.
could have been eating whole foods and could be high protein, could be strength training, but because this was so messed up, they're not seeing the results that they should be seeing. When we're younger, we tend to have a bit more resiliency around it, where you can nail the first two, kind of have trashy sleep, still get some sort of results. But I have found in my experience, you get above 35, and even if you're chipping away at the first two, which should show you huge results, you're not, and it's almost always because of this part right
now.
here.
In my experience with the young people, when you take a young person, teenager or 20s, who's fine, I'm getting some crappy sleep, but I can go because you're resilient. They do this for a month. It's
like overnight
PRs, crush everything.
Success,
it's like, what the heck just happened to me? I can't even believe.
Your body's been starving for it.
Oh, it's incredible. All right, so I'll explain some of the studies. So, and now the studies compare bad sleep to good sleep. So it's typically 5 hours versus 7 or 8 hours of sleep. So this is a bit extreme, but this kind of illustrates just how powerful sleep can be. In a calorie-controlled, calorie deficit or fat loss diet, bad sleep versus decent sleep, the difference is you lose twice as much body fat and half as much muscle in a deficit. In other words, when you go in a deficit, you're going to lose some muscle and you're going to lose some body fat, okay? If your sleep is bad, you'll lose half the body fat and twice the muscle. If your sleep is good, you lose twice the body fat and half the muscle. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to injury, this is the greatest predictor of hurting yourself. One bad night of sleep increases your risk of injury by 50%.
So crazy.
One bad night, not a week, not a month. You just had a bad night last night and then you would go work out. You just increase your risk of injury by 50%, which is wild, which is crazy. All right, creatine, the greatest supplement ever, the one that has the most data, the one that consistently shows it has a benefit. Here's what you're going to get from creatine. About 5 pounds to your compound lifts and about 2 reps. That's it. So, and I know everybody's like, what? That's it? In the land of supplements, that's like king, because supplements typically don't do that.
It actually does something.
But it's not, it doesn't come close to all the other stuff at all. In fact, I had a talk with a friend of mine. My wife is coaching somebody right now, a friend of ours, and we're on the call and we're talking about all this stuff. And she brought up creatine. And she's like, but I don't know if I should take it. And it's a supplement and this and that. And I'm like, listen, who cares? Don't take it. What do you mean? I heard it was so great. I'm like, I was like, okay, you'll probably go up 2 reps on your lifts, which is cool, but it's not a game changer. Whole natural foods, high protein, sleep, game changers. Creatine in the land of the context of supplements, awesome. But in the context of what moves the needle, huge, not a big deal.
Okay, that's right. So this was the only one I had a bone to pick with.
Yes.
Because I was like, I don't know how you came up with these 5 and not have resistance training in there.
Oh, because that's got to be I feel like that's a must.
Well, I mean, again, it's like how much of an impact does this really have? Creatine doesn't even make this list for.
I think I'm assuming people are strength training if they're in this, with all of this. Yeah, if you're not strength training, let's go. How much of an impact does that have?
Because the first two, first 3, I could even make the argument. No strength training or anything.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like those 3 things are so impactful. Yeah. I've seen that change people's lives that don't even resistance train. Yeah. I've seen my own mother go on the Whole30 and it like changed nothing else. Nothing else. Maybe we take some walks and that changed their life radically. So the first 3, without anything, are that impactful. So if we're talking about what are the most impactful things somebody could do for their health, creatine doesn't make this list for me.
No.
Resistance training, walking would be right here.
Yeah, no, strength training is what sends the signal for your body to adapt in the ways you want. So without that signal, there is no reason for your body to adapt in the ways.
And the reason why I bring that up and why this is an important argument to me, because when I make it, or was Mark making the points that we were just making on the other three, I'm making those points without resistance training.
Yeah.
Because if you put whole natural foods into this person and that they switch over and their strength training,
oh God,
Oh yeah.
forget the 500 calorie thing you
exponential,
talked
yeah.
about. Like,
oh yeah,
that person, that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge. Like that may be the only thing
it's
they ever have.
compounding interest is what you're dealing with.
Yeah, they may that Whole Foods and just lift weights may be all they have to focus on for the rest of their lives and be in phenomenal shape. And so I'm not assuming they're doing that, and same thing goes with the high protein thing. Like high protein just will control the calories, make that person healthier. Add strength training. All the arguments we made is exponentially stronger now. So yeah, creatine doesn't make this list for me because it's you could not use creatine for the rest of your life.
Fine.
And you'll be totally
fine.
Totally
Yeah,
fine.
I like bringing it up though because in the land of supplements, it's king. But again, we're talking about a category of things that don't make that much of an impact anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but it all in that category, creatine has a big impact. All right, last, a good coach. So here's the deal. Like we just gave you like really simple, basic steps that make a profound impact. That doesn't mean they're easy. It's still hard. It is hard to go from a traditional diet of 70% of your calories come from processed foods to getting rid of it all, to a traditional diet of I'm eating 60 grams of protein a day to now I need to eat 150 grams of protein a day, to a lifestyle where I stay up late at night on my phone or watching Netflix. I stay up late Friday night to sleep in Saturday. Monday comes around, I'm jet lagged, to getting consistent good sleep. Like simple, but yet difficult. What does a good coach have? What does a good coach provide in terms of impact? Well, I'll break it down for you. Your odds of long-term success, even if you follow the steps that we talked about, are dismal. I hate to say it. On your own, if you look at the data, 90% of people are going to fail. So you got a 10% chance of success. What does a good coach do? A good coach dramatically increases your odds, guys. Dramatically. You work with a good coach, you've multiplied your odds of success times 5 or 10 in terms of, is this going to be something I'm going to be able to do for the rest of my life? And the good coach knows how to use all those tools and implement them and coach you and guide you through the process.
This is my favorite one on your list that I think would be kind of a surprise of the 5, because somebody else would make the argument, walking, strength training, this and that. I like this, and I want, and maybe it's top of mind for me because we just got off a bunch of live callers, and we help a lot of people that call in and say things like, I've been listening to your show for 5 years. I know what you're going to say to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they don't lack the knowledge of the 4 that we've said before, because we've said this 100 times. But the psychological discipline of following through when we get in our own way is so common.
I know.
So common that we even have trainers and coaches that hire other trainers and coaches that need that, because they recognize, like, I've got past trauma, or I have insecurities, or I have insert whatever thing that's blocking me from doing what I need to do to serve my body and take care of myself. And so a really good coach is paramount to helping somebody break through that.
Totally.
Everybody has blind spots.
Everybody does.
Everybody.
Yeah. And we all have some sort of insecurity or some sort of trauma or some sort of, effed up relationship.
Or maybe you've just been living like this for your whole life and I got to live this totally different way. How do I do that? I'm going to stumble. What does that look like? How do I get back on? Like, what steps do I take?
What's the
do I
right
take all the
path?
steps?
Yeah.
I mean, having a good coach is worth their weight in gold, period. Look, if you want to do this and you want to succeed at it, and you're looking at all the possible things you can implement and do and invest in, a good coach is worth more than all that stuff combined. That's it. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
It's the most impactful thing that you could possibly do is work with, and I say good coach because there's a lot of coaches. There's not a lot of good coaches, unfortunately. But when you find a good coach, oh my God, you guys, it's just life-changing. And we know this. We were coaches. Yeah. We know how hard this is. We know how hard it is, and when we were good coaches, we know how hard it is for people to get to this point. But if you want to get results, you want to keep those results, you want to be able to do this for the rest of your life and enjoy it and want to do it, then invest in a good coach. Nothing beats that. Yep. Period. End of story.
So speaking of challenging goals and figuring it out and stuff like that, how's your How's your
Today was day
journey
2.
to the dark side going over there?
Today was day
How's the
2
hip swivel?
of just cardio.
Yeah.
So
Is it really cardio?
That's it.
I mean, is it? Is
Well,
it?
it's cardio like.
Wait.
Yeah.
So what are you doing though? Like what are you doing
I'm
for
just walking on
cardio?
the treadmill.
What speed? 2?
No.
What speed?
the
Come on,
It's not great.
What speed you at?
So the incline is 8.
Oh, you're actually inclining already.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
impressive.
I don't know what it is about incline. I actually prefer walking on an
I like incline versus.
I do
running.
too, except for I know what happens the first couple of weeks when you
Well,
haven't
you
done
get
that.
little sore
Oh,
shins.
bro,
Yeah,
I was like, I had like that was like a big eye opener for me. Was how sore my calves and shins were from just walking for an hour.
I haven't gotten sore, but I'll feel my shins burn a little bit, which is kind of disheartening. It's like, what the hell, man? But it's an 8 incline.
Yeah.
I'm doing about 45 minutes. The speed is 2.7 to 3. Is that good? Is that a good? It's not that fast.
I don't go slower than 3. 3 is where I start, and I work
really?
up to 4.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So I'm at 3.8 right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I increase, and I do the same thing, and I don't do. So I only incline enough for me to feel my heart rate elevate, and then I drop it back down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I incline like a 10 or 12, and I'll do that for
So
like.
you're doing a little like a mild interval.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah, about that.
So here's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm not necessarily trying to get like some cardio workout.
No, of course
I
not.
could push it much harder.
No. So could I.
I'm not so out of shape that walking puts me out of breath. What it is I know myself, and I know that if I don't figure out a way to enjoy this is going to last for maybe a week, and I'm going to go right back to just lifting weights all the time. I know that. So what I've done, and my wife really helped me with this, as she said, because I had all these plans, right? Oh, I'm going to swim. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
I told you no of that too.
She said, and I really had intentions of doing all that. And I may at some point do that. But she's like, Sal, she goes, why don't you make this cardio week or this non-lifting weights week that you're going to do every other week? Why don't you make it, like, do something you enjoy while you're doing it so that you like that part of it. So I'm just listening to a book.
Of course.
Is what I'm doing. I'm listening to a really good book called The Faithful Stranger. And so I just get into the book. And so as I'm walking, really it's not about the walking, it's about the book. And so I like it. I show up and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to listen to this cool book. Yeah. And I just so happen to do, be on a treadmill for 45
I
minutes.
100% agree with her. I mean, I was trying to push back on you weeks ago when you were first saying that. I'm like, yeah, I think that's a terrible idea to try. Well, what it is that you're just, it's already something
too foreign.
Yeah, and there's too many things. You're too many variables.
Yeah.
It's just like the advice we give people. It's just like, maybe you like the swimming, but then you hate the other thing. It's like it's too many variables. It's like stick to one, try and pair it with something that you do like and enjoy. Out of all of us, I think I'm probably the biggest audiobook guy. Yeah. And for some reason, that's the time I can't do it.
Is it too distracting?
Yeah, for being on either elliptical, whatever the thing is that I'm on.
Then for you?
Yeah, it's the beat.
Yeah.
I actually am. So what I tend to do, I have no problem staring at a wall or looking straight, and just with the rhythm and my gait.
You're also probably deep thinking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. And I get deep, like the music kind of like the beat goes to my cadence and my gait.
You get lost in your thoughts.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. And the book is almost distracting. Yeah. I have to. A book for me needs to be driving, more relaxing.
Got it.
And I've tried. I've like, this would be great.
Are you taking notes afterwards? Because that process of thinking, I know your mind.
I'll do it while.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, because
that's got to be so great.
I'm walking, so I make notes.
Is that why you're coming up with all these ideas lately?
So that's there or nighttime. Those are always where.
Is it helping you at night? Because sometimes you don't sleep because your mind races.
I just while we were just talking, I looked down because I hadn't updated my aura. I scored an 81 last night.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is like life changing for me. I've never scored in the 80s.
Wow.
So I'm on I want to say on a, which is so funny that I had to fuck myself up so bad to like force that I had to create this like.
It's not funny, bro.
I know it's a little funny. It's
listen,
a little funny.
I'm gonna say
I can laugh.
I'm gonna say this right now, dude. Is that guys like us and Justin doesn't fall as prey to this, but he's also can be prey to this. When you are rewarded by the world because of your effort and your talent and your whatever, you just without realizing it, you just develop this pride. Which is like, I can do it. I'm the main actor in this movie. I can make it happen. If I put my mind to it, nobody can outwork me, whatever. And for us, it requires us to get crushed. Be like, okay, maybe I don't got it all. Maybe I got to figure this out. So, now you're at this place where you're like,
yeah. And I really, and it's not, I'm not perfect at all. I'll go, a couple nights back, I think I scored as low as a 67, which is one of the lower scores I get now. When I mess with it, like I have to, TV's got to be off well before 10 o'clock. I have to have my chamomile tea. I do the Legion Lunar. Yeah. I've done all my supplements for the day that I'm supposed to.
Bubble bath.
Unfortunately, I don't have a bath anymore, but I would have done that yet. But I have to really, I have to prepare. I can't take it lightly. It's not like. And then obvious things like tech. I've always been pretty good about that. I've put good parameters around the phone and family.
You
time.
know what, dude? Because I've heard this conversation, or I've heard people talk about sleep before, and like, what do I got to do all this planning and prepping and whatever? Because our modern world is so counter to what would produce good sleep.
Yeah.
That you have to plan. It's like, why do I have to plan eating healthy? Because if you just go out and eat whatever's around you, it's going to be unhealthy.
Speaking for my personal experience, it's actually hard. It's not easy. I think it gets talked about as like, you just need to make a little sleep routine, or just before bed. Like, no. It's actually like I got to think about it. Like I get like when I get home at like 5 or 6, I even have to like vocalize like to Katrina, like, hey, tonight. We got to really make sure. I want to get a good night. So like that's how much effort I have to put towards it to get that kind of a score. To get an 80 or a 90, I have to think about it long before bedtime, and I have to be already like, okay, good. I'm getting a good dinner at like 6 or 7, so that's plenty of hours of digest.
Well, imagine if all of us for 30 days lived in the woods with no electricity.
Yeah.
Good sleep would be the default.
Yeah.
Like, it's dark.
Well,
got nothing to watch or do.
Especially if we were out. So the other thing is I also have connected very closely. A good move. Like there's a big difference. Here's a huge thing too that I've unlocked because I track so much of this stuff. This is why another reason that's motivated me to do the I shouldn't even call it cardio. It's just walking,
just moving,
just moving for 8 to 10,000 steps. Yeah. If I'm under 6,000 steps. It disrupts sleep.
Yeah, dude.
It's just not enough. It's not enough. My body didn't get physically exhausted enough to get a really good deep night's sleep. So I've hacked into that also. So it's like, I got to be up 10,000 steps. I've got to really say to myself at 5 or 6 o'clock, this is a night I'm going to do these things. I do all the things, and then I score great sleep. If I don't, then it's a roll the dice.
It's...
All right, real quick, if you love us like we love you, why not show it by rocking one of our shirts, hats, mugs, or training gear over at mypumpstore.com. I'm talking right now. Hit pause, head on over to mypumpstore.com. That's it. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Also, 2 days left for the brand new program, MAPS Great 8. It's 50% off right now, plus we're going to throw in a nutrition guide. Here's what you do. Go to mapsgreat8.com. So mapsgreat8.com, use the code LAUNCH. It'll give you 50% off plus the brand new MAPS Great 8 nutrition guide included for free. Here comes the show. You know what's crazy? Because we worked in fitness forever, and our jobs were very active in the sense that we were always on our feet moving. Mm-hmm. Now we have sedentary lives because we come in here, we sit, and we don't move, which is most people's jobs. But I was just thinking about this because I was talking with Justin yesterday.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, because both of us, because it's raining, so we don't do our daily, midday walk or whatever.
Yeah.
And him and I are looking at each other. I'm like, man, I always feel so terrible when we're stuck in here all day long. But do you know how much worse it must be for people working in tech? Do you know why?
Oh, you're staring at a blue screen.
At least we get to talk to each other.
Yeah.
They're just
you're isolated, and you're just looking at a stupid screen all day.
Oh God, that's got to feel terrible. They don't even know it. They've lived in it for so long, they have no idea.
And that's it lulls you to sleep in a sense, right? As far as like thinking that it's just okay, it's normal, you don't realize
just feel like crap and you don't even know it.
And this is the part. I mean, I know of us. I'm the more wearable track stuff, but this is stuff I actually geek out and I like. Like this is where these tools are really neat for me. Is that I have worn them and paid attention to them consistently. And I've manipulated stuff in my diet and exercise. I've had transitions in my life where I'm very sedentary for a job to very active. And I've been weights from, weighing 180 pounds and lean to all the way to 230 and jacked and lean and overweight, all in between. And I've been able to watch all these things. And it's easy for me to start to tweak and twist these little things that change that. And I've definitely connected these dots that I can't sit and do under 4,000 steps in a day. And also not make an effort at a good sleep routine and think I'm going to get a good night's rest. It ain't happening. I got to move.
What are we hitting? Is it about 4? Is it under 4,000? If we just show up
under 4, God. It's like 2 to 3.
Dude,
dog.
I don't sit at all at home.
Even
on our days off,
our bullshit walk gets us to 4 to 5.
I know. Yeah,
our bullshit walk gets us 4 to 5. Okay. If we don't do that, you're 2 to 3, and that's including your little workout.
That's terrible.
That's you going in the gym and lifting weights and moving around your steps. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing.
So you were saying, Justin, on your days, I'm like that. So what do you on your days off? You're not sitting.
Oh, I don't sit at all. I hike. I'm out taking the dogs for walks. I don't. It's like it's a big catch up. On the days that we have off, but even still, the discipline of after. Because I drive too, and I'm commuting.
That's
it's
right.
45 minutes, and it's 45 minutes here, and I'm just sitting on my ass, and it kills me inside. And then I get home, and then I've turned into this sort of look and scope for any kind of thing that I need to clean or fix, and I'm just I'm going around the house, or I'm taking dogs outside. I'm you got to keep up. I turn all that energy into this crazy storm.
What's crazy, and I have so much respect for you that you can do that, because what I've also connected.
Yeah, you go home, you don't want to move.
I don't want to move.
I know.
That would be me if I sat down.
That's when we do this, and if I don't lift or get moving, this is what's so interesting to me. And I know this has to be common for a lot of people that get stuck in this. Is that when I go, it's ironic that when I only move 2,000 to 3,000 steps here, and I didn't exercise, I didn't do any cardio, I didn't do any steps, I didn't do anything, and then I drive home and I get home and say 4 or 5, I think I'm tired. I feel and I'm lazy and I don't want to go do all the stuff. Yeah. Now flip that, get my steps in, get a workout in. I get home, I go right to clean the kitchen, run some air, straighten up, help my wife out with the lawn. I do shit. It's so crazy.
By the way, I got to add this too. It's how domestic have we become because we like to move, because we know we need to move. I'm at home sweeping, I'm cleaning stuff.
Oh, totally.
And sometimes my wife is like, no, you work, you sit down, let me do it. And I'm like, no, I want to help, and I also want to move. I was sitting down all day long. I don't want to.
It's all ramped up too, because I'm kind of preparing to move personally into the other house, and it's just been there's so many things in the box, and you just living in a certain place, you realize how many things you collect, and dude, it's just been nonstop the last few weeks. So I'm burnt out, but I'm still I'm go. Yeah. There's no time to sleep.
Speaking of wearing things, I know we're supposed to do this big photo shoot today for one of our partners, which we always him and Haw over it, which is funny. But we were supposed to wear all black. So are you guys do you guys wear your Vuori?
Yeah, I'm in Vuori. Okay. Yeah. How lucky is Vuori? Because the shoot isn't even for Vuori, but we're always wearing Vuori.
Yeah,
and
it's the only reason why. So I look at old pictures. My wife will pull up old pictures of us. And you guys always tease me.
Best clothes.
You guys always made fun of my style back then. And I mean, you're right. I look at the old stuff. I'm like, whoa, dude. How did I score my wife, dude? She saw through all that, dude. She's like, your style changed totally. I was like, honey,
I would like
because I'm sponsored by.
You know what? Because Vuori does whitelisting with us, so that I would love to see Vuori do a montage of all your outfits pre Vuori and then post Vuori.
95% of my whole wardrobe.
Yeah,
is them.
Definitely them.
They hook me up, and I'm like, this
is even you wear a lot of their button up stuff and their nice stuff when you go do speeches.
No, it's all everything. Yeah, it's everything because I just don't have a sense.
Vuori changed your life, dog.
Dude, changed everything. Changed everything. Hey, speaking of life changing, Justin, you will appreciate this, Doug. I'm going to send this to you. I might have sent it to you yesterday, so I don't know if it's in your notes. I saw the coolest machines ever. Now, typically machines are terrible. I'll send it to the group. I think as well.
Wait, is this okay? Before you, I'm just gonna guess. So it has this track, and there's one that you press that's on a track. That's
no.
Okay,
no, that's interesting. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So Doug, I just sent it to the group. Have you guys ever seen a machine that is so sports specific that you would say that might be better than free weights.
Oh, okay.
That's never happened. Check these machines out for baseball. They were designed, I think it's a Japanese company that designed these machines specifically for baseball players and pitchers. Look at the rotation.
What? Oh, what?
Look at the rotation in the arm and handle as they go through these movements. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No. To get that kind of resistance with that rotation.
Yeah, dude. Look at the leg machine even. But the arm and shoulder one is what really trips me out.
Yeah.
When you see the twisting and rotating of the arm.
Interesting.
With rotation. Like, I can see
looks
the
like
rotator.
his hand goes into like a...
He can go full rotation with it.
So this is Ichiro Suzuki has these machines.
Okay.
But like, first of all, I would never use these machines on the average person because I don't see the. But if you're a baseball player, I'm looking at the shoulder health that it's producing.
Oh yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah.
Do you see how the first one that he was showing where it was like twisting and rotating?
Yeah, it was weird. Okay, you know,
it would hurt my arm.
It's a really weird looking movement, but I understand, like, you know, how
look
to
at that.
Add resistance to that.
Look what it's doing.
Challenging.
Well, so if you ever watch, so I'm not a, you guys know this, you guys make fun of me. I'm not a sports guy, but I love by watching the biomechanics and the physics,
the sports science
of sports.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to look at is a slow motion video of a professional pitcher.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't
it's
look
magical.
It looks look at that one. Look how it twists.
Yeah, the physics of it to get to that last bit of whip to really accelerate the ball is insane.
I couldn't slow motion get my arm in that position. And they're whipping something 90 miles an hour. Like, how do you not destroy your arm?
Well, they do.
So technical. Yeah, exactly. They do. The game really is to elongate that process.
I mean, that's the thing to highlight too. We talk about this a lot. A lot of people, I think, when I say that statement that sports are unhealthy for us, it always gets a lot of controversy.
It's extreme.
Yeah, it is extreme, and it's like, and that pitcher's arm he'll have issues 100%. It's really the game is how long can he
maintain?
How long can you
type of power?
How can you torque and throw at that rate for that many repetitions? Which, by the way, is why
they count pitches.
Yeah,
like
why they count pitches. Why they only play so many games. They have to have games off before they play a game.
Well,
everybody has a number, which is kind of a trip if you think about it.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's like I hit my whatever thousand.
It's why people like Nolan Ryan were so special. The guy could pitch for so long.
Yeah,
and not
use an anomaly. Yeah.
It's the physics of it is remarkable because like a bull whip, the sound that the whip makes is actually that the tip of the whip is breaking the sound barrier.
Yep.
And what they're doing with their arm is they're literally creating this whip-like physics that's happening where the end of their arm is generating so much speed and force. Well, first it would rip anybody's arm off.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Were you in the room when I was talking about Steph Curry? Were you out of the room?
No, I was out.
Oh, so you were out of the room. It was before we got on the podcast. I was telling these guys, watching clips of him. This was NBA All-Star Week, and so he wasn't playing, but he was there, and he was with the announcers. And the announcers, their booth is like, I don't know, it's 15, 20 rows up in the stands behind the basketball hoop or what that, and he's mic'd up and he's talking to the guys and they throw him a basketball and he turns around and he shoots it. Like, I mean, you're talking about like I don't even know how far, probably a 3/4 court shot or whatever like that, or at least a half court plus from behind the backboard and swishes the ball, right?
Wow.
And I was telling the guys that he just did that, but that obviously went viral, which brought up a bunch of other clips of him. And he's the only person where I've seen this happen before. In warm-ups, when he's warming up a lot of times and he's shooting the basketball hoop or shooting at the hoop, I've seen this happen. It's wild. And he misses 2 shots in a row. And all of a sudden, like, you see him kind of look at the hoop like that, and they'll call somebody over, and then all of a sudden they'll get the officials over, get the ladder out, and they'll check the level on the, because he doesn't
He's
miss.
like, it's the hoop.
Yeah. And then they'll like, oh sure shit, it's off by and they have to adjust it.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Like he's that honed in to the
It's so funny you brought up basketball because when I was on the treadmill listening to the book, on the big screen above me were a bunch of slam dunk competition.
That's all this week. It's NBA All-Star.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I'm watching old competitions and new ones.
Dude.
But again, I'm not a basketball fan, but I do like human movement and the physics. So I'm looking at the angle that this guy's ankle is hitting the ground and how their foot plants and then how they twist out of it and jump. And I'm like, dang, bro, that's.
Well, it's right to what you were just bringing up to about the baseball players. Same thing, like their shin angles and stuff
shin angles are huge,
is wild, and the ability to get that torque and that explosiveness and that short range,
wider step and stride, and how you can create the more torque and force.
I mean, this is what made me when we first started. We haven't shouted him out in a really long time. Just to give him his love, because I used to talk about him all the time, is Paul Fabritz.
Yeah. He breaks that down really well.
Really well. And, I've always been fascinated in sports performance and things like that. And just for a long time, the coaches and trainers have just been whack in that field for a long time. And so it was really cool. I remember when I first found him, I don't know how many years ago it was now. It's been probably eight years ago when I first came across him and talked about, and we had him on the show a long time ago. But
his knowledge of biomechanics is next level.
So good, dude. Yeah. I still talk to him and follow him and watch his stuff, but you really only had like Joe DeFranco. He was the guy. Joe was football, right? So Joe was really the football guy, and then Paul, I think, is one of the greats when it comes to basketball. Just the understanding how to develop that. We were so off back in the days. I mean, when we were kids, we were wearing strength shoes and stupid shit like that.
Around with a bunch of platypus.
I remember being in the weight room when I was in high school doing calf raises.
I did those.
Trying to get my vertical up by doing calf raises.
Did you guys both buy the strength shoes?
Yeah. Yes, I owned them.
Now, what'd you do? Play basketball in them?
You were supposed to. They had drills. They had drills.
Drills and a lot of like spring jumping, like plyometrics and. I mean,
it's a reverse high heel.
Torch my calves to no end.
You went to San Jose State for a while, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that the kinesiology
one of the best in the nation?
He did his thesis was on the strength shoes. He completely debunked them. Yeah, that was his whole thesis. Wow. It's up in the. That's why I was wondering if you ever saw it. It's up in his in the room with one of the classrooms there, and it's his whole thing, his whole breakdown.
Are they still known for having a really good kinesiology?
I believe so.
Oh yeah. They're still known for it. But you can look on if you Google online like strength shoes for sale. People still sell them.
Of course they do.
Yeah, people still sell them. You can still find them for sale. Probably more nostalgia than anything now.
Speaking of performance, I got to give so much credit to LMNT, and I'm going to give them credit for a couple things. One, for not being fearful and putting a full 1,000 milligrams of sodium per serving, where everybody was scared of salt, scared of sodium. They threw it in there. Here's the other side of it that was so brilliant. One of the components, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this. One of the components to palatability, right? Something that makes the things that make something enjoyable to consume. There's three major components. There's a lot of components, and food scientists have figured this out.
Fat, salt, sugar.
Fat, salt, and sugar. And so with LMNT, you have a sugar-free drink. So it's sugar-free, but no artificial sweeteners. And usually, if you've ever tried a non-artificially sweetened 0-calorie drink, I mean, you could tell. It's like, it's all right, but it's not as good as the other stuff, right? But because there's so high sodium, which is what you need if you want the electrolytes, it's really palatable. So I have friends that they could care less about the fact that it's electrolytes. They just
like the taste.
They just love the taste of it.
Yeah. So, I have some friends that have like really adopted it because it definitely still gives you a really good flavor.
That's why
in comparison.
It's it. And by the way, they're everywhere now.
They're in Target now. It's so cool. I actually took a picture of it the other day because it was in my local Target and I hadn't seen them there yet. And they have their own official big old thing. It's been so cool to watch. We're 11 years we've been doing this now, and I love when we find partners like that early. Before it's like, I mean, I feel like everybody knows what LMNT is now, but I remember when we first started working with them, they weren't huge, they weren't popular now, and just to see them as big as they are and see them in Target and stuff like that's so cool. I mean, Vuori, you brought up Vuori today. Vuori's another one.
Yeah.
Like it trips me out, like how many people I see in Vuori now. There was a time, I don't know if I've ever said this on air. I know I've told you guys before. There was a time when I used to see somebody in Vuori, and there was like a good shot that if I walked up to them and said like, hey, you've heard of Mind Pump? They heard of Mind Pump. You know what I'm saying? Like that was how small Vuori was. When Vuori is so big now, I see everybody wearing Vuori.
Well, I see people drinking.
And it's less. Chances that you use a Mind Pump are very slim.
Well, so I have friends. So I have friends that I invited to our Christmas party, and you know, they're friends of mine and they love me, and some of them listen to the podcast, but they're there to be supportive. And we give gift bags. So if you attend one of our parties, if you're invited, we'll give you a gift bag. And in our gift bag, we've always included packets of LMNT. So these are friends of mine, and they're not like fitness fanatics. They're in and out of fitness and stuff like that, but they're drinking LMNT all the time. Like, why do you drink it? Do you like the electrolyte benefits? Does it help you with the workout?
Yeah, I
like,
know.
no, it tastes really good.
Yeah, I don't even care about
I don't drink soda anymore.
Yeah.
This is what I drink all the time now.
That's so good.
I know. Anyway, there was a clip. You guys know Steve Austin, right? The pro wrestler.
Stone Cold, dude.
Stone Cold.
Come on.
He was being interviewed, and they were asking about like training advice, exercise advice, things he wish he knew back in the day. And he says what almost every experienced fitness enthusiast or trainer or anybody who understands fitness, when they're experienced and wise and older, they always say this. And when I was a kid, I dismissed it because I said, "Oh, you're just saying that because you're old now." He says what they all say, which is, I did way too much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did way too much. I went way too hard. I wish I understood that if I did less, I would have got better results. Now, as a kid, I used to dismiss that so much because I'd be like, well, that's because you're in your 50s now, bro. Like, of course, like you can't work out as hard. Completely arrogant to the fact that they have wisdom. They've been doing this for decades. Maybe I should listen to them. And so I just want to encourage, if you're a young person listening, like, the reason why we give this advice is not because we're old. We're giving this advice because I wish I knew this.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to know this. Try it out and see what happens.
Yeah.
And you'll get way better results.
It's the argument I always say, and I'm making to this, is that it's because everything else serves us to do that.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Everything else in
Put
our
more
life.
effort, get more.
Yeah, everything else. But like that, you're working with physiology and nutrition and recovery,
and human limits, and
yes, and so it's not like everything else. It's not like the more I do, or the more I study, or the harder I work, the more money. It's like it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's that there is a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot for you as an individual at different periods of your life, and at different times of even the week.
Yep.
So it's like understanding how nuanced that is, that, hey, when I'm getting good rest and I'm young and well fed, I can train this way.
Yep.
And then that same person 2 weeks later, when you're not as well rested, as well fed, that changes again. And so it's like this idea that just you got to push through and harder, and that mantra resonates with the young teenage boy who's trying to climb the ladder. And so it's like, yeah, I think every wise lifter who's been doing it for a really long time realizes at one point in their life, they go like, shit, I could have probably done half or even less than half of what I did, and got better results if I just did it. And the other one, this is why I love the Grade 8 right now. Like, this is a fun program for us to release.
People are going to be, if they trust it and try it,
you're
going to get blown away.
Yes. Yeah.
You'll hit PRs.
Like, just get we've distilled it down to what we think are the 8 most important exercises that somebody could get good at. We've talked for a long time 100%. On the podcast that we communicate, like, hey, try going to the gym and just practice movements. Like, practice these 8 movements, go through that, get
one lift a day,
get good at them, and then watch what happens. Yeah. Just watch what happens just from that alone. Totally. But you know what? So many people won't, because they'll dismiss it just like they used to.
It's not enough.
Just like they used to dismiss anabolic.
Yeah.
The same thing. Like, this isn't enough.
Yeah.
People trip out like how much stronger they'll get too. Just like, and this is when I was going for PR. It's like, you get rid of a lot of the junk volume and a lot of the distractions in your lifting and your workouts, and you hyper focus on these lifts. Magical things happen. Your body responds to it. It actually really is receptive and hyper focused on like the movement aspect. It can generate you a lot more force if you really allow it to. And I think that's, again, to like the Steve Austin thing. It's, for me, as like an athlete, I do have a lot of regrets, like with overtraining, but then also too, like not understanding like movement quality, like to the degree that I do now, and like adding mobility and really articulating my joints. And strengthening and supporting the infrastructure. So that way I'm freer. I'm more able and capable to really produce speed and force. And it's like it's liberating, and it sets these athletes off to a degree that they've never even knew they had. So.
Well, if we all agree that these exercises are a skill, which we do, like a sport is a skill, would anybody in their right mind who wants to get good at basketball come to the gym, play basketball, play golf, play soccer, play volleyball, all in the same workout? Or would you just focus on playing basketball every time you worked out?
And then break down basketball into like 4 basic components.
Yeah,
let's just get good.
But it's like we treat exercise like it's not a skill, and so that's where. And honestly, that is the difference between somebody who exercises and who works out. Is that working out is with
you're just trying to get sweaty.
No, exercise with that. Just exercising is just getting sweaty and moving. Working out is I have a goal in mind. I'm working out to get better. I'm working out to get stronger. I'm working out to lose body fat. And if you're working out with a goal in mind, then approaching it with this as a skill in mind will serve you so much better. If your desired outcome is just to move and sweat and you don't care about the results, then by all means, throw a bunch of shit into a routine, do whatever.
Jump in place, spin in circles.
Take Zumba. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, do those things because, that's movement, and movement's good for you. It's not a bad thing. But if you are going
more effective way,
you're going to the gym with a desired outcome of results.
Specific.
There is definitely a better approach to it.
Paleo Valley makes paleo-inspired supplements, and my favorite, meat sticks. These are grass-fed meat sticks that are fermented. What does that mean? That means they're allowed to break down a little bit, so when you bite into them, they're juicy, they're not dry, they taste amazing, and they're gut-friendly. They're good for your gut. They're incredible high-protein, on-the-go snacks with a long shelf life, way better than candy, way better than any jerky you'll get at the gas station. It's good stuff. And again, they also have other supplements that are great for the paleo natural lifestyle. Here's what you do if you want 15% off. Go to paleovalley.com/mind pump. Back to the show.
First question is from Jay Lehman, 23. When it comes to deadlifts, when should I use a traditional and when should I use a trap bar?
Yeah, this is a good question. So trap bar requires less skill to perform, which gives it some advantages. A straight bar, because it's a higher skill exercise, the risk of injury is higher, whereas a trap bar is a quote unquote safer exercise because of the it just doesn't require as much practice and skill to do. That being said, although they're similar, they're different. I strongly think you need to get good at both, and so you need to practice both. And I don't necessarily think they're interchangeable. But I would definitely practice both because they're both very, very valuable. But the traditional is just, it requires much more.
I would argue that differently. One of them has carryover to the other one of them doesn't. You get really good at deadlifts, you can trap bar deadlift just fine.
True.
You get really good at trap bar deadlifts, you won't necessarily
There's not as much of it. Yes, good point.
So, but... by the way, that doesn't mean I'm dismissing trap bar deadlifts at all. In fact, I did more trap deadlifts because it's entry level. So like young athlete, advanced age client who's never strength trained before, probably doing a trap bar deadlift with that person first to get them comfortable and with hinging, and it's a safer way to teach them how to hinge
risk
properly.
Reward.
Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense for certain applications. So this isn't me shitting on the trap bar at all. But if this is a person who can deadlift good or knows how to deadlift properly, you could deadlift and never trap bar deadlift and be completely fine.
One of the most difficult things to do in training is to really hit that posterior chain. There's nothing more effective than the deadlift. Yes. So you have to just keep that in mind. If you don't have enough time to really build the skill, and you need a long period of time to really build that skill, then I would look at risk reward. Trap bar would be my focus, and I would build strength, and I would work my way into that skill.
Next question is from Fit for Running. What are good non-meat protein options during Lent, since as a Catholic, we abstain from meat on Fridays? I'm not a big fan of fish.
We get this question every year, at least a couple times, and I think we're all in agreement on how I've heard you answer this a ton of times, is that when you're doing things like Lent or fasting for spiritual reasons, then I think that's the way you should approach it.
Yeah.
It's not the idea of like I think that is the whole
hit your macros.
Yeah, this isn't you. Who cares about your muscle? Who cares about your physique goals when you're doing something like that? I think that's the idea, is to let go of worldly things.
Yep.
And idols, like being like our bodies and the way we look and stuff like that. And so I think don't do Lent then. Either do Lent. Or do fasting or don't do it. Don't try.
I'm going to be doing this, right? So we're going to be doing, we're going to be practicing this, and I'm going to eat fish. And I'm not a big fan of fish either, but it's kind of the point. The point is, it's got to be hard, right?
Yeah.
Now, okay, I can give you lists of options, right? Eggs, dairy, fish, whey protein. You know, that's not meat. But the whole point is, it's supposed to be hard, and the whole point is to focus in a different direction. So, I mean, I'd say, okay, you're not a big fan of fish. All right, then whatever. It's going to be hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's once a week. Mm-hmm. It's only for the next 40 days, and you're doing it for your faith. Then go for it. And there are other options that I listed, but when you try to like circumvent and make it so that it's no longer hard, I mean, what are you doing it for? Is it just tradition?
It's better you don't like it.
That's right.
Because now you're going to learn something.
I mean, I don't like fish. I'm going to be eating
anytime something is hard.
Yeah, but why also
something.
even eat fish?
Oh, why just go with nothing?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could.
That's my point. My point is like
just
the person that's thinking that I need to eat fish or I need to do this is chasing these protein goals.
Yeah.
One day of doing this a week
Not going to hurt you.
is not going to hurt you.
No.
Not from a health perspective whatsoever. No. So you know that this person who's chasing protein through these routes are doing it for aesthetic muscle reasons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you're really doing this for spiritual reasons, it defeats the purpose. Yeah. So in my opinion, either do it or don't do it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So like, and I feel strongly about that. Like this is like that's the whole point.
Yeah. Otherwise, it becomes tradition, and it's not faith. It's really just about I'm doing the thing I'm supposed to do.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, don't do that. Yeah. Like, that's it.
Next question is from Peter Unofficial. If I don't get enough protein daily, how does that affect my gains?
Well, we talked about this earlier. It makes a big difference.
Huge.
Big difference. You could feel the difference. You could see the difference. There will be no question
especially
with the difference.
Especially you in this in gains.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you just said, like, how much of a difference is making me living, longevity, staying lean, not that big. But you want gains? You want to build muscle? It's the difference of you doing it or not. In fact, almost every client I ever had that was like, man, I train, I do all this, but I don't, like, the first thing I go to is like, let me see your protein intake consistently. It's like, oh, there it is right there. You do not consistently hit optimal protein.
At the beginning of the episode, I said, based on the studies, 27% increase in muscle gain from hitting high protein. I would say that's
not even high protein. The studies you're talking about. You're referring to going from 0.8 to 1.6
per kilogram.
Yeah,
I would even extend it. If you extend this over years of eating high protein or not, I would say you're going to make 50% more gains.
And I would argue that if you actually go to a 1-to-1, what we always recommend, you'd see even more.
Yes.
So it's like,
it makes a big difference.
Huge difference.
Makes a big difference.
Next question is from Mick D. Maria. Why do I love MAPS 15 program so much?
You know what? Here's why I picked that question. Here's why. Because the people that are writing in that love this program so much are people who've already been working out for a long time. And they're shocked, not just that it's easy and that I'm not losing gains because I'm only doing a couple lifts a day, but they're coming back and they're like, I can't believe
I'm making progress,
that I'm getting better results than I had before.
I know.
Like, and so our MAPS 15 program versions, so we have many of these, right? And essentially MAPS 15 means 15 minutes a day. But if you do the barbell dumbbell versions, it's probably closer to 25 minutes. Yeah. But you're doing 2 lifts a day. That's it.
Still
2 lifts
a short amount of time.
People are blown away that they're getting the best results for their life, and they're doing way less than they ever did before. That's why everybody loves it. It's not just it saves time. It's not just it's easy. Yeah. I'm actually getting better results.
Stronger and making gains.
Totally.
Listen, it's so great that you chose this. You chose this question before we had our organic, authentic conversation that we don't even know where we're going is in the conversation. And we had this in the way we just ended was talking about how everybody that has been thinking about, or that's older and wise, always goes, man, I wish I would have done way less.
Yeah.
And the reason why so many people love it so much is they have that same realization.
Blows their mind.
They blows their mind when they reduce the volume and intensity and all the stuff they were doing before to something as simple as just 2 movements a day in their workouts, and they are seeing phenomenal results. And who doesn't want to see more results doing less work? And it's unbelievable.
It's also just a paradigm. It's a paradigm shattering experience.
It's
for people.
against all the marketing we grew up with.
Yeah.
Completely. And I think that's why it's so shocking.
100%.
It's like, why wasn't this here?
All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. Shredded, ripped, defined, single-digit body fat.
Yes.
You want to get there? Let's talk about it.
Difficult. And is it worth it? That's a follow-up question.
Yeah. First off, we got to say that. Okay, so single-digit body fat, obviously, body fat percentages that can be represented by 1 digit, like 3%, 5%, 6%, 9%. That's ripped for men. For women,
add 10%.
yeah, exactly. You go up about